Okay, it's time to begin, so let's do that. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight for, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2015, as far as you know. I'm Dr. Doug Kelley. Good to have you here for the Spirit of Life service for the International Church of Metaphysical Humanism. It's one of our educational programs. We have several others, including metaphysicsinstitute.org, where you can get your bachelor's, master's, doctoral degree in metaphysics. We also have ICHSworld.org, where you can take a standalone course in metaphysics. And we have empoweredrecovery.com, which is a website for the friends and family of alcoholics and addicts. We have paranexus.org, which is our anomalous research arm, and other things too. Our mission is to explore and empower the human spirit, as well as to explore science and spirituality. So it's good to have everyone here in the live audience as well as in the broadcast audience. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the value of raising your awareness, which is a rather interesting and deep topic. Dr. Vicki Hunter will be discussing how to say what you mean and mean what you say, and then we will have the Enspirit forum following those two, including our guided meditation. As we get into this, let's read our abbreviated 9 principles of belief. These are an abbreviated version of the principles of belief of the International Church of Metaphysical Humanism. Number 1, do no harm, do right. Number 2, we believe in the indomitable power of the human spirit. The answers we seek already exist within us. Number 3, we believe that we alone are responsible for and capable of solving human social problems. Number 4, we are all equal. One planet, one race, one ancestry, one destiny. Number 5, we recognize and honor the divine energy that exists in all living things. Number 6, we are physical and spiritual beings. Consciousness survives death of the physical body. Number 7, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, and respect for free will creates self-completeness or self-actualization. Number 8, metaphysical education and practical life skills empower the human spirit and enhance the human condition. And number 9, expanding human consciousness leads to human evolution and peaceful coexistence. For the complete discussion of our 9 principles of belief, again, please visit metaphysicalhumanism.org. Let's go ahead and pull our inner oracle card, which will serve as a theme for tonight's program. If you're new to the broadcast, these cards are self-discovery cards. They encompass the majority of what we teach in short bites and basically designed to get you to think. I've already shuffled them a few times, so I'm just going to pick one at random and we'll see what it says. It's number 36 and then some, one of my favorites. That's not the one you picked, is it? No. That's right, I remember now. I can remember sometimes past 3 seconds. So, and then some. That's an excellent card. What that simply means, you do things and then you add a little bit to it and then some. So we'll talk more about that when we get to the Enspirit forum in just a little bit. All right, so let's discuss the value of raising your awareness. As I mentioned, the topic of increasing one's awareness is rather profound and deep, but it doesn't appear to be that way at first glance. But it really is what makes human beings human beings. For example, anytime we learn something, our awareness is raised. If that makes sense, right? We have an increased awareness about what we're doing, and so now we know how to do it. Think about road rage or road rudeness. Have you ever been on the road and people just have been rude or they have been discourteous or unthoughtful? Now, if you were to pull these people over and survey them, do you think they would say, yeah, I was trying to be rude and insensitive and discourteous? No, that's not what they're going to say. They're just cooking along in their own little world, and they're oblivious to other drivers. But it's not because they mean to be that way. It's because they have lower awareness of those around them. It's just a lack of awareness. Some religions strongly discourage college. Why? Because they don't want their members to become educated, which will in turn raise their awareness about the cosmos, about life. It will raise their awareness that there are other alternatives that are much broader than the narrow-minded approach of mainstream religion. Think about terrorists who insist on people conforming to their own brand of religion. They're oblivious to the greater reality. Again, a very narrow view and lack of awareness. Another aspect of raising awareness, or how it happens, is many people who have left a cult. Well, they didn't just walk out one day. Their level of awareness was enhanced, increased, and they became aware of things that weren't right, and so they ended up leaving. Another example is when this happens is when a person leaves a toxic relationship, perhaps an alcoholic relationship, after being in it for years. And they get out of it and they make some progress and their awareness continues to grow. And they look back and they can't understand how they spent so long in that relationship or why they did. They don't understand why they didn't leave sooner. Why? Because their awareness has been raised. They realize that there is life beyond this dysfunction. So those are some examples of how awareness can become raised and the effects that they have. And as I said, anytime we learn something new, our awareness increases. So I want to focus briefly on 3 areas of raising awareness. The first one is self-awareness. Secondly, awareness of others. And thirdly, awareness of our place in the universe. First of all, self-awareness basically means getting to know ourselves. It doesn't matter how old we get, we continue to learn a little bit more about ourselves. Isn't that true? Every day we might get a glimpse of some little aspect of ourselves that we didn't appreciate or realize. We didn't have an awareness of it. This can cover a number of areas. Why do we respond the way we do? Sometimes something will happen and we'll have just an involuntary feeling about it. It won't be logical, but we might feel hurt. We might feel excited. But if we do some introspection, we ask, well, why did I react that way? What evidence did I have? What basis did I have for reacting that way? Especially if it was negatively. Why do we have the thoughts and feelings we do? You know? If you've had the opportunity to really transcend from them-esteem into self-esteem, that's a big, huge raising of your own awareness, self-awareness. You realize that you are entitled to all the good things, same good things in life as anyone else, no more, no less. You realize that you're perfect just the way you are. That's all raised and increased awareness. You realize that your self-concept comes from internal expectations and validation, which is self-esteem, not external expectations and validation, which is them-esteem. In other words, them-esteem means I only feel good about myself when I'm doing what other people think I should do. Increased self-awareness is also the objective of our inner oracle cards, to get you thinking about yourself, self-awareness, awareness of others, and awareness of your place in the universe. So how do we grow in our awareness? Well, simply by thinking, by doing some introspection, by educating ourselves on these different things. That's how we do it. We look inside and say, why did I react that way? Why do I feel this way? Why do I like doing what I like doing? Where does that come from? And those are ways of looking inside, of growing an awareness of your value and worth as a human being. Because we all have that. And yet we all compare ourselves to everyone else, right? And that makes us feel worse. So well, I'm not as good as them. I'm not as smart as them. I'm not as pretty as them. Whatever it is, not as educated. It doesn't matter, you know. But the fact is that it doesn't matter. We are who we are. And we have a right to be who we are without judgment. Doesn't mean people won't judge you for it, but it doesn't matter because what you think of me is none of my opinion, right? Can I get an amen on that one? Good. So, growing your awareness, self-awareness, by thinking, doing some introspection, thinking about your place, about who you are, and appreciating that, and continue to do that. Let's talk about awareness of others. Kind kind of like the road rudeness that I had mentioned at the outset. You know, when you're driving along the road, you're not in a cocoon here. You know, you've got a lot of other drivers on the road. Drive accordingly. That means be courteous. That's just one example of increasing your level of awareness for others. You know, another way to do it is to not judge people. Does that mean you have to accept everybody just for who they are? Well, maybe, maybe not. Some people we can't accept for who they are. Take a psychopath, for example. I don't care how you slice and dice it, I can't accept a psychopath or a sociopath who kills other people. I can't accept them for who they are. Sorry. Right, wrong, doesn't matter. I can't accept them, and I won't. So we can understand that. But generally speaking, we don't judge other people. We let them be who they are. You know, we don't jump to conclusions about their motives. We don't jump to conclusions about their motives. Doesn't mean that we might not have some insight into some motives, but it doesn't mean we jump to conclusions. We understand that people are generally trying to do the best they can with the knowledge, experience, and resources and level of awareness that they have at this moment. You know, so often we want to make today's decisions with tomorrow's wisdom or knowledge or experience, and we can't do that. So we're all at this level of awareness. It's unique to us. We're all at this point, and we do the best we can with what we know right now. Doesn't mean we won't do better tomorrow or differently tomorrow. Awareness of others is also involved in, it means being kind to others. You know, being kind to other people. We can get judgmental with people. Oh, you know, they're just an idiot, or they're a creep, or whatever it is we say because it's judgmental, or they don't do something we want them to do, so they're an idiot, or some other colorful words. But we need to really endeavor to be kind to other people. That's what separates humans. We can be kind. And we can extrapolate that even to online forums or in emails. You know, so often it's so easy to think that the person on the other end of that email or the other side of that forum is just not real. I get that all the time. People don't know me. They'll send in a question about the school or about the church or whatever, and they don't realize there's a real live human being on the other end. Somebody who has had their victories and defeats, who has likes and dislikes, who's had joys and catastrophes. We're all that way, aren't we? So we don't want to forget that there are human beings on the other side of this stuff. And so we expand our level of awareness to include the plight of others. Most people are afraid, folks. You know, they're desperately trying to fit in. They constantly compare themselves to others. We have to get away from that. We have to understand that everybody's trying. In their own way, they're trying. We have to expand our compassion to the plight of others, understanding they're trying to do the best they can with what they know and have right now. Doesn't mean it won't change, but that's raising your awareness for others. We need to be aware of others. We have a whole world here. There are some people who are just trying to kill others. There are most of the world who are just trying to get along, albeit in their own way. And some of them can be annoying, yes, but that's because why? They don't have a higher level of awareness. They haven't worked on themselves. That's the value of working on yourself so you can raise that awareness. Here's another nugget that I'll share with you. You mentioned it before, I'm sure. It's what I do. We can always afford to give people the benefit of the doubt at least once, can't we? At least once, if not several times. I always give people the benefit of the doubt until there's a reason not to. That means that if I'm not sure about somebody, and let me backtrack a second, doesn't mean I'm going to be stupid either. If I don't know somebody, I'm not going to trust them with the life of my child or whatever. But if somebody is by and large okay and I am in a situation where I need to extend some trust, I'm going to do that, provided I don't have a good reason why not. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until I have a reason not to. This is good for employers and employees. It's good for any situations like that. You can always afford to do that. And if the person is not worthy of being given the benefit of the doubt, they will show that. and then you can make a new decision later. So give people the benefit of the doubt until you have a reason not to. Those are some aspects of increasing your awareness for others, the plight of others. The third area I wanted to talk about was awareness of our place in the universe. And this is obviously an ongoing thing for all of us. We want to know, who are we, where we come from, where are we going, how we get here. All that's those big questions, you know. What is our place in the cosmos, in this universe? Where do we fit in? And that's what we seek to understand, how we and perhaps humanity fits into the bigger picture. We can contemplate things like the exoplanets. I mean, I just heard this on a documentary in the last day or two, can't remember now, 11 billion possible inhabited planets in this galaxy alone based on the number of stars and so forth. I mean, there's a lot. Are we the only ones in this universe? Of course not. That would be the epitome of stupidity and the epitome of arrogance to think such a thing. It's like, really? Come on, we're way beyond that now, aren't we? Of course, the universe is teeming with life. All of the galaxies are. It's just logical. So we want to seek to understand. Here we are on this planet. We have our problems. What about other planets? We're not alone. We're not the only ones. I'm sure there are planets in all phases of evolution and growth. So we're not alone here. One of the other ways that we can increase our awareness as far as our place in the cosmos is to explore other theories and hypotheses about what it's all about. There's string theory. There's the many worlds theory, parallel universes. There's ancient astronauts theory. There's all kinds of stuff that we can expose ourselves to that gets us thinking. You know, because we watch it or review it doesn't necessarily mean we buy into it. We have to use our own critical thinking skills and see what we can draw from it, how it makes sense, and so forth. By deliberately trying to grow in our awareness, we evolve spiritually. People who are evolved have raised their level of awareness, not only self-awareness, but awareness for others and awareness of the world around us. And this should be the goal of all humanity, shouldn't it? Makes sense, but sadly, it's really not. Many are content to devote their lives to things that just don't matter. I mean, there's a lot of things that just don't matter. You know, a couple that come to my mind are video games and sports. They're fun, and to that extent, they matter. That's fine. But if that's all we ever do, where do we go? Where does that get us? We can't just do one thing. We need to be balanced. We have fun. We play video games. We do sports because that's part of the fun that we're supposed to have too. But we have to do other things. We shouldn't do things that don't matter to the exclusion of things that do matter, such as working on ourselves and growing and thinking and helping others. Should all be part of it. So if you want to play video games, fine. If you want to play sports, fine. Just incorporate that into your bigger picture of growing yourself and helping others. The job of every metaphysician is to not only grow in awareness, but to help others grow as well. Indeed, is that not the entire objective of what we're doing here? It is. Any metaphysician, any spiritual counselor, any life coach, any therapist, any of those people, their job is one, to raise the level of awareness of others. That's all we do. That's all I do every day, all day, is in some way trying to help raise the level of awareness of my students, of our church members, of people I come in contact with. Doesn't mean that I go out of my way and control them and tell them what they ought to do. It means that people who come to us and want advice and that sort of thing, we help, and that's what we do. Our message, all of these videos that we do, the services, all the educational programs are all designed to do one thing: raise the level of awareness of this planet. And from past discussions, when we raise our level of awareness, we change. We change our energy signature. We change the vibe that is us. And that then becomes another goal, to increase the vibrational level of humanity, which means raising their level of awareness. It's why I do what I do. It's why I created all of this. And I'm sure it's why all of you do what you do who are watching this program. So the takeaway from this few minutes of presentation is look within, find who you are within, continue to learn about yourself, grow in self-awareness, increase your awareness of others around you, understand that they're real live human beings. They all have their joys, their heartaches, their victories and defeats just like you. They're trying to do the best they can too, just like you. And allow for that, a little more compassion. And then continue to assess and contemplate our place in the universe so that one day we might actually figure that out. And I know we will one day. Don't know when, but one day we will have a much better understanding of where we fit in the universal family. All right, next up on the program, Dr. Vicki Hunter will be doing a presentation. Her topic tonight is how to say what you mean and mean what you say.
How to say what you mean. Her topic is how to say what you mean.
You got to turn your player off.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Am I with you?
You are. All right, Dr. Vicki Hunter, how to say what you mean what you say.
I think I'm here. I have a big delay, so okay. I don't know why I have a delay. Anyway, what a great talk on awareness and self-awareness and awareness of others, and it just segues nicely into what I'd like to talk to you about tonight. And I guess the first observation we can all agree on is usually what people think, what they say, and what they do are all different. They're not consistent. And so how do we learn then to say what we mean and then mean what we say? Because the mean what we say is the follow-through, really. It's how do we behave after we've said something. But that self-awareness, a lot of people don't have that self-awareness. And I have to admit also in my life, there was a time when I was doing my best to convey a message. I wanted to say something or contribute to a conversation, then it would get misinterpreted. And because I have a thing about words anyway, I really had to dig deep to ask myself, what is it that I'm trying to say? And how is it that I'm not conveying my message? I can't always, there isn't always a guarantee that somebody else is going to understand what I'm saying. I mean, because it's also about the receiver. But I can give it my best shot to be as responsible for my words as possible. What has happened over the years is, and I take people literally to their word. If somebody says, well, I really like peas, then and I'm cooking for them one day, I'm likely going to make peas. And then they kind of don't eat them. Well, I thought you liked peas. Well, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Oh man, that just drives me bonkers. How we're always trying to please other people, and then we get all this miscommunication and we don't have that connection. So we've lost our own self-awareness, for one thing, and we start to get confused about our awareness of other people. So that's a pretty, blatant example. But as we're talking in a conversation with somebody, I can't count the numbers of times where they would say, well, that's not what I meant. I say, okay, how about we start again? And what did you mean to say? And they find it very difficult to explain how they feel or what they're thinking. Trying to explain emotions is very difficult. It's very hard to, especially when you are emotional, to be able to convey the feelings that you have. So I always say, and I'm perfectly fine with this with other people, is, well, let's just take a minute, and once we all kind of, those emotions calm down, maybe we can find some different words. So never be afraid to leave a conversation for a while, by the way. That's really key. But it's to find those exact words. So what I have often found myself doing is paraphrasing back to somebody. And I know that drives some people crazy, but really that's the only way I can process through my own mind what I think they mean to say. So I might say something, oh, if I have that right, you mean, are you talking about blah, blah, blah? No. Okay, can we start again? Because I don't understand. Now, by the time a conversation gets to that point, it's really frustrating. And then people just don't want to talk anymore. That's the unfortunate part of it. But we each have a responsibility to ourselves and to others to start a process for learning better how to say what we mean, and then to be patient with other people. And I find that emotions are the worst thing for mixed signals and to shut down. So often if you're in a relationship that's really important to you and you have something that you want to talk about, I suggest, especially married couples, is to say, I would really like us to have a conversation about blah, 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 and maybe next Thursday. Maybe we can have a coffee or lunch and, maybe talk about that, whether it's the finances, the children, or even about how they're feeling. I'm feeling kind of bummed out these days. Can we have a little, talk later? And what that does is give somebody else a moment to emotionally process. And this is all in that learning to be emotionally confident, emotionally stable, emotionally more balanced. Because when people feel emotionally safe, they communicate better. And I've never found that to not be true. People don't feel emotionally safe, so they don't communicate well. The other thing that happens in miscommunication is when some people have an agenda, and very typically we don't want to lose control of a situation or what we're talking about. Lots of different factors come into this, but very common habit is try to second guess what somebody's about to say. So there's this control factor. And what happens if you're trying to second guess what somebody else is about to say, you're already processing through your own filter of how you want to gain control over that. And so it's like, I'm really happy for you, but what's in it for me? That's a very typical thing of how does that affect me? That's a very typical way of miscommunicating. So we have to really be comfortable with our own awareness and who we are and do our best to find ways that make other people feel comfortable as well as being able to self-express. So that being said, and of course there's umpteen million different kinds of examples we could lend into, but words are very important to use succinctly. There's a time in my life that I really wanted to be clever and use big words. Well, fewer words, smaller words is better. It conveys things simpler. So when it gets something a point, don't try to be smart and clever. Just say what you need to say in as comfortable and sensitive a way as you can. The second part of what I mentioned earlier was the follow through. And parenting is like the number one thing is like, if you don't clean your room, you're not going to the birthday party. Well, they didn't clean their room and they got to go anyway. See, and you only ever have to refuse one birthday party and they always clean their room. That follow through has now had this direct action, reaction, cause and effect. What I think, what I say, and what I follow through with are all the same. Very commonly, people, the first thing that happens to happen to occur is the threat. Because they want something to happen, there's a threat, a consequence, and a threat. And somebody's made up some kind of consequence that's going to occur. And it doesn't happen. And so people then don't believe you anymore. There's a credibility that's lost. One of the most frustrating things that I have found with people, whether they're clients, friends, relatives, it doesn't matter, is people saying about someone, well, they're just like that. Making excuses for poor behavior or not being on time, or, well, they're just like that. Well, now we've absolved somebody of responsibility and we're actually enabling them. So now we're really twisting things around about, trying to say what we mean and mean what we say. We've now excused some people from that process. Of course, there's always that as we talk about the school a lot, cognitive dissonance, that denial with secondary gains. So what is in it for us when we make excuses for others, make excuses for ourselves, is because there's something else that we have in our agenda that we don't want to ruffle feathers. We don't want to shake the boat. And the only way I really believe that we're all going to make some progress in better communications, better understandings, is if we take responsibility to mean what we say, to say what we mean, to do our best to say what we mean to say. There are a lot of extraneous conversations we all have that things get kind of confused. I think if somebody is wanting to learn more about how to articulate words, is forget about the extraneous stuff and just start working on the articulating for things that are a little bit more important. For some people, the reverse may be true. Forget about heavy discussions for a week. Talk about muffin recipes. Talk about, going to an event, anything that doesn't aggravate emotion. So you have to figure out which side you're on and which works better for you. If you don't know what to say, push the pause button. I am like a freak for pause buttons. I love pause buttons because it's just this tiny little blank space that allows the body to relax, the mind to relax, and then you start to think a little bit better. The question that I encourage people to ask before you speak is, what do I hope to achieve by this? Now, if you're being really honest with yourself, I think I have an agenda here, maybe I should just nix that idea and not say that at all, because then they've got self-honesty. Now we're also being responsible for our words. The other is, what do I hope to achieve by this? Am I trying to manipulate somebody else? Am I trying to be a strategist? And that's not always a bad thing if it's for the benefit of all, and there's some unawareness going on, but you really check in with yourself to say, what is my intent? So again, finding the words that best convey that intent, or that best convey what you hope to achieve. And we go back to this all the time: do no harm, do right. At the same time, what are we doing to ourselves when we're not taking full responsibility for our own actions and our own words? Words, you never ever take back words. They're out there. That sticks and stones will break my bones thing, that's just wrong. Words, when they are out there, they are never forgotten. And if there are words that are in anger or frustration or harm, the feeling never goes away. So I think the challenge for all of us is to better try to align our thinking versus our words, and then our follow through. And of course, there's always emotion. Push the pause button, take a break, come back. I really think that almost no good ever happens when people are really heated and emotional in a talk. It's just take a break, get a coffee, go for a walk around the block, whatever it takes. But don't abandon people. If you're going to take a little break, just explain why you're going to take a break. I'm not conveying my message very well. I need to clear my head. I'll be right back. That's respectful. So that it's a teaching tool also. If you live that example, others will start to follow that example. So all in keeping with the awareness, Dr. Kelley was saying, self-awareness and awareness of others. And in keeping with our, little card of the night, and then some. So always give it the and then some. I know how frustrating it can be. I do understand it. Be yourself as much as you can. Don't try to be like other people. Don't try to, I think we've all done that, right? To keep up or stay in the game. Don't bother. Just be yourself. Gauge your environment, gauge your surroundings, and contribute to conversations in a way that make you feel comfortable, but others, and that evolves. So we now have this evolving energy of, and fair enough to say, I don't know anything about this topic. I can't make any contributions at all. I'll think about it because that's a new one on me. That's using words to convey, an unfamiliarity or something that you want to educate more on. So again, that honesty of words, that honesty of conveying our message to others so that it gives people really comfortable space to come back. And now we have interactions, we have conversations, and the follow through, follow through, follow through. Can't explain that enough. Do not give empty threats to people. Watch how we follow through from what we've said, and that's another self-responsibility, but understand what a mixed message that sends to other people. So again, what we do for ourselves, we're in a shared space, keeping in mind that somebody else has just heard you say one thing and now you've gone and done another, and it makes no sense. So somebody's going to challenge you on that, and that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing if somebody challenged me. Why did you do that? Because I thought you said this. Yeah, well, I guess maybe I need to expand on that thinking a little more, or I need to, kind of, maybe I got a little double standard going on here I didn't know about. And that is in the evolution of growth. It really is. We're all growing. We're all human. We all check in various different ways. But to the best of our ability, we have to say what we mean. If we don't understand what somebody else is saying, ask the question. I don't have a frame for that. My favorite line is brain file. I don't have a brain file for that language, so can you kind of give it to me in layman terms? and then paraphrase. Okay, I think I understand what that means in my way, but now we've got a conversation that's comfortable and relaxed. And again, our actions are showing that we are being responsible and self-responsible. So I hope that just a few of those little thoughts are helpful. And again, to check in with ourselves, and don't ever be afraid to give it that extra little, even though it's hard work, because it pays off in the end. It's that and then some. I love that.
Thank you, Dr. Hunter. Appreciate that tonight, and appreciate you working that card in. And speaking of that card,
I have no sound.
What would you check your card number 36 and tell me what it says? I'm on. Check, check. Can you not hear me? Vicki, would you check your card number 36? You can't hear me? She can't hear me. Can you hear me?
What?
Okay, we're working on it. Check, check. I'm testing. You want me to keep talking? Okay, so the audience can hear me? Oh, so I have to take back everything I just said about them? Okay, so we're getting Vicki back on for a second here, and I wanted to ask her a question about that card because I pulled this card, and I'm going to wait to get her back on because then I'll have to just say it once. Unless it's going to be too long. Okay, we'll ask her later. So you go ahead and get her on, and we'll go into the meditation. I had pulled this card 36, which says "and then some," which is on the service to self and others suit. Turns out I have two card 36s in my deck. It's apparently because of a previous version, somehow a card got transposed into my updated deck. How, I have no clue. But Michael was telling me that the actual card for "and then some" is wild card number 2. So we're still going to go with the "and then some" as the wording or the card phrase, but it's wild card number 2. And this is just from a previous version of a deck. So I don't know how that crept into my deck. I really don't. Stranger things have happened, they say. Let's do some quick announcements and then we'll get into our guided meditation. Thank you to everyone for your previous donations. Appreciate that. It all helps. Appreciate it very much. If you would like to know how to donate, you can do that with the buttons on the website at metaphysicalhumanism.org. You can also enroll in our degree program. That will make donations to the program, to the church. You can also take a standalone class at ICHSworld.org. If you want the degree program, that's at metaphysicsinstitute.org. Some want to know how to join the church. Simply go to metaphysicalhumanism.org and look for the information on membership. If you are a church member or a member of any one of our educational programs, you can join our One Planet community, which is a private Facebook-like network that you can interact with like-minded people. And in a couple of weeks, on June 17th, we're going to have our semi-annual ceremony, the Rite of Cygnusure for the Northern Solstice. So please join us for that special occasion. Next week's program, I'm going to be talking on the theme Coming Out of the Closet, whichever one you're in. It will be a good discussion. Dr. Brian Parsons rejoins us next week. He will be talking on kinesics, Kinesics, connecting to others through nonverbal behavior. So please join us for that. And of course, we'll have our forum. So with that having been said, we're going to do a quick guided meditation and we'll get into our Enspirit forum. Are we good? No? Hold on one second. Let me get some updates from the technical advisory team. Okay, I'm told that we have some technical issues with Skype, but we're working on them, so I'm going to go ahead and do our meditation real quick, and we'll get on to the rest of it. So, if you can, find yourself in a comfortable position, take a deep breath in through your nose and hold on to it to the mental count of 3. Just let your body relax. It's all right. This is that time when you can just settle. Just relax. Another deep breath. Hold on to it for a moment. And just release. And as you do, release the cares, the tensions, the stressors. Let them go right on out of your body. Just settle. Feels so good to just relax for a moment. This is a beautiful time to just let everything go. Nobody wants anything. Nobody asking for anything. Just allow yourself to settle. And I wonder if you can imagine that beautiful ball of light sitting right over your head. That's your soul light. That's who you are. That's your higher self. And it's there, and it's always there. And it's your wisdom. It's your true essence. And it's got all these little tentacles of light and energy connecting out to everything in the universe, connecting you to all life everywhere. And I wonder if you can imagine bringing this ball of light right on down into your body, to the middle of your body, and just see it fill you up with its brilliance, with its nurturing qualities. And if you have any particular part of your body that hurts, just target that area with this light. You can even hover that light right over that area and just use that as a visualization to repair and nurture and heal and nourish that part of your body. As you allow this light to fill you up, you realize that you are perfect just the way you are. Nobody is better at being you than you are. And you are entitled to all the good things in life, the same as anyone else, no more, no less. And you are just positive. You're feeling so much better, feeling a little bit lighter, lifted. Understanding that you can accomplish anything you choose, anything you want. You take responsibility for who you are. You show respect for others, just as you would have them show respect for you. And you accept yourself just for who you are. Take just a moment now, and if you know someone who needs a little bit of an encouraging word or helping hand, send them a burst of positive energy and help them on their way, lighten their load just a little bit. don't forget to include yourself in that burst of energy to lighten your load, to lift your spirits. You can return to this state anytime you want by just willing it. Taking a moment or two, closing your eyes, taking a deep breath or two, and just allowing yourself to drift right into this state where your soul light is within and energizing you completely. And when you're ready, allow your soul light to take its normal position, leaving you very refreshed. I'm going to count to 3, and as I do, you'll become even more refreshed and relaxed and attentive. 1, feeling so much better. 2, feeling the benefits of that beautiful light within you. And 3, eyes open wide, feeling refreshed and clean and clear and uplifted. You are perfect just the way you are. You can do anything you want. Just go do it. Welcome back. Right, to wrap up our night, let's go ahead and we'll do some cards. Are we good on Skype yet? Okay. We don't have Dr. Vicki back for some reason. We'll keep working on it until she can come back. Let's go ahead with the some card readings. Do we have anybody that wants? Anybody here want one? Hold, you. I'm sure you do. Okay, 1 second. Let me just do what Dr. Vicki normally does, and that's read the and then some comment. My arms are not long enough anymore. It's the wild card number 2 is the and then some card. And it says, when you have reached your limits and believe you have done all that you can do, reach deep within to stretch your true potential. Do a little more than is needed and go beyond what is required to make a positive difference. You can do it. By so doing, you are leaving the woodpile a little higher than you found it. This and then some is a great thing to employ at work or any time you do something for someone. Go just a little bit further with it, add a little bit more to it. We only read the one, and Dr. Vicki usually does it. All right, we're going to go ahead. Do we have anybody who wants it? We got a couple. Okay, we're going to start with Phyllis. Do you want to pick one, or do you want me to pick one? Here we go. Anyone you want. Good card. Number 11, awareness. Good pull. It's in the existential suit. So exactly what we were talking about tonight in raising awareness and the existence part of it, because when you think about it, awareness covers all of it. We talked about self-awareness. We talked about awareness of others' plight. Talked about awareness of our place in the universe. That's a great card. Don't forget, everything we do is designed to raise awareness. All right. Let me put my notes away, do a shuffle, and then we'll pull one for some. Do you want one, Karen? No. Okay. Tina, who's next? Oh, Tina's next. Some person named Tina in the chat room. Okay. Do you want to pick one, or do you want me to do it? Good choice. 27th one? Sorry, it's number 3. It's in the self-acceptance suit. Be who you are, walk your own path. I think that's fairly explanatory. I keep thinking of my topic for next week, which is, coming out of the closet, whichever one you're in. We're all in a closet of some sort, and I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to really be hitting on the atheistic closet or the belief closet. So that's a good card. Be who you are, walk your own path. You have that right. Everyone has that right. Without judgment. Doesn't mean people won't judge you, but that's okay, because at some point in our lives, it gets to a point where we say, you know what? I love you, but I'm going to be who I am. If that means that you're not in my life anymore, I understand. But I owe me more than I owe you. You have to be you. You have to take care of your own path first. Then you can help. It's, you know, the old, probably way overused illustration of when you're on an airplane and the masks come down, you put your own on first, then you help other people. Good analogy. It makes sense. We have to walk our own path, because if we don't, no one else can walk it for us. If we don't walk it, then it doesn't get walked. We end up walking somebody else's path with them. You know, doesn't mean you can't have a parallel path, does it? No, you can. They can be pretty much parallel. We do that all the time. We have close acquaintances and friendships. Kind of a parallel path of sorts. Same thing, only different. Still unique, still our own. That's okay. All right, who's next? Okay. Waiting for it to hit me. All I've got is this one. Number 22, think for yourself. This is also another excellent card that goes right along with what we just pulled. You know, walk your own path. That means thinking for yourself. Don't forget that everything started as a thought in somebody's mind. Every religion on this planet started as a thought in somebody's head, contrary to what they might want you to believe. It wasn't inspired. It wasn't handed down from on high. It was the thought in somebody's head. And often those thoughts were, wow, that's pretty loud thunder, and gods are probably angry at us. Almost said something else. And it all kind of came from there. Think for yourself. Everything that I'm talking about here came as a thought from my own. I mean, this whole thing is created by a thought in my mind. Doesn't mean you have to buy it. Think for yourself. Make sure it works for you. It's a good card. Okay. Jenny, welcome back. I have to shuffle it for Jenny because I feel the urge. You know what they say, feels good, do it. Go with your urges. It's probably not what they say. The card is wild card number 6, entropy. The energy at hand is outside the norm. Entropy. Entropy simply means the concept of things going back to the dust. Everything gets old, everything wears out, everything goes back to the dust, back to a state of disorder. And so when something has high entropy, it means it wears out real fast. If it has low entropy, it doesn't wear out very fast at all. So when it comes to entropy, that could mean a lot of things. You know, it could be of anything about our life, our beliefs, our thoughts, what we're doing right now, our work, whatever it is, it will resonate for you, whichever one that might be. So it could mean that the entropy is low, it could mean it's high. You'll have to know, whatever hits you. Entropy. We obviously want to seek low entropy. Anyone else? Third card from the left, huh? Good. Wow, he makes my job easy. That card is number 37, groundedness. That obviously means what it says, being grounded, keeping your feet on the ground, your head on your shoulders. You know, that's one thing we have to fight in the field of metaphysics is there's a lot of folks who want to take it way out into foo-fooville, foo-foo land, way out into orbit. And as I said a zillion times, you can believe what you want, I don't care. But you know, for your own sake, be able to defend it to a reasonable extent. All of this is unfalsifiable, meaning we can't prove it right or wrong. There's such a thing as objective evidence, and there's such a thing as rational evidence. And we have rational evidence for a lot of things, like life after death. We have compelling evidence to suggest that's true. So keep your feet on the ground, remain grounded in your approaches and your perspectives and your beliefs, and it will serve you well. Any others? She'll have to listen to the archive. Go ahead. We might be able to get Dr. Hunter back on. Looks like we found her. Hey, can you hear me now?
Hello? It's just
Can
I'm going to
hear you.
have a little feedback, but I'm all right. I don't know what the sound issue is on my, maybe it's at my end on the computer. I have no idea. Anyway,
I'm sure
here.
it's all your
Let's
fault.
try.
That's just our standard answer. No, we didn't do it. It's your fault.
My fault.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard
I think
any
you're
of
doing
that.
a great job, though.
Oh, thanks. I'm just pulling
You're
up
doing a great
the
job.
Slack here. You know, we have time for a 3-card pull if you want to do one.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. We
You
have
want to
one
pull the
last
cards,
one
or you
to
want
do.
me to pull the cards?
No, let me pull one for one last one, and then I'll let you pull 3 cards, or I can pull them. Who's the last one for? I'm sorry, Jacinta. Welcome to the program. Okay, Jacinta, you're right in the middle. It's number 36, which is actually card number 36, gratitude. I remember I pulled 36 before, and it said and then some because it was from a previous deck, previous version. I don't know if you heard that part of it, Vicki. Anyway, gratitude. That means having gratitude for what you've got in life. You may not have everything you want, but be grateful for what you've got and work toward improving that. You may be grateful for what you have, and that's just validation for you. But if you're not, work on that. We all should be grateful for what we've got and where we're at in life, because it could be a lot worse. It could be better sometimes. We can work toward that. Okay, Vicki, do you want me to pull them or do you want to pull them? You got them. Okay,
I
go
just
ahead.
did them.
What's the first
And
card?
they're all existential.
That's interesting.
It is, because the deck was shuffled. Well, in the existential suit, here's the message. The indomitable power of the human spirit,
Which card number?
positive consciousness, and continuity of life.
Can you give us the card numbers so we can flash them?
Sorry?
Did that sound right? We need the card numbers.
Oh, 10, 13, and 16.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Say the card face values again.
10, 13, and 16, which is the indomitable power of the human spirit, positive consciousness, and the continuity of life. Because that's really, it just makes so much sense. You know, we each have this enormous power inside of ourselves. When we generate that consciousness with positive energy, it flows, and that really does promote the continuity of life, and really with deliberate intent of what we want to create. And the more people who do that together, the more powerful that push forward is. I think that's a great message, especially in light of tonight's topics.
So it was positive consciousness. What was the first one?
Indomitable power of the
Indomitable power
human
of the human
spirit.
spirit. That,
Yeah.
in my mind, that goes right along with continuity of life, because that means that this life is not all that there is. We have
I
such a
agree.
powerful human spirit that it carries on. It must. It makes no sense otherwise. And so continuity of life simply means we transcend this life. This is but one chapter in our whole existence. We learn the stuff here, we move on, and we keep doing good. Appreciate you doing that. Any others? No? Okay. It's about time to wrap up. We appreciate you doing that, Dr. Vicki, and your presentation. Always good, of course. Thanks to Michael Kelley for teching the broadcast for us. Thanks to Tina Balderrama for moderating the chat room for us. Thanks to all of you who have attended. Don't forget, next week we'll be inviting Dr. Brian Parsons back for his return for a program. He's always interesting, does his homework, so look forward to that. Until next week, listen, think, learn, grow, and live. Thank you. It was just a little one.